have a guest, two of them on the call this evening, and they are just going to be sharing. We're going to be rubbing minds, sharing their views while I share mine regarding the different issues that we have raised, concerning the politics of our nation, Nigeria. I'd like to ask you, of course, I wouldn't have to ask what party you are supporting or who you voted in the gubernatorial election. Neither will I be asking you who you are supporting for presidency, right? However, I'd like to get to know the APC currently holds the center. And of course, majority of the states in the 36 states of the nation also have APC governors. Now, they have declared who their vice presidential candidate is. And of course, one of the major problems and concerns people have had is the fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and now his presidential candidate, Shettima, are both Muslims, right? While there is a theory that, of course, understandably and arguably, for you to be able to win the North, you need someone who is a Muslim, right? And not just a casual Muslim, a very core and professing Muslim, right? And of course, there is also a theory that the Northerners do not consider the Muslims from the South and every other part of Nigeria call Muslims. So what do you think, the outcome of this would be? First of all, is there any form of concern raised in the state where you are, Osun State, regarding this, Muslim ticket?
All right. Let me first state my own personal opinion. Personally, I have zero issues with a Muslim ticket. Do you understand? And I'm quite surprised that a whole lot of people on Twitter, and I'm majoring on Twitter because those concerns are mostly raised on places like that. Do you understand? I'm surprised people are concerned about this. Do you understand? We are a people that tend to tell ourselves that we should not be judged by religion or judged by our ethnicity. Do you understand? But politics for a long time in Nigeria has been a form of ethical show to it. Do you understand? Now, the only reason why religion is like the unspoken show. Do you understand? There is no laid down structure for religion in most parts, actually. Do you understand? But when you are just doing something and it is unspoken, but you just know that it makes sense for a Christian and Muslim. Do you understand? Do you get? But Bola Ahmed also knows that if he is running, he has to pick someone from the north. You get a prominent figure from the north. You understand? I believe people's concern, which tend them to want to vote for Peter Obi, was based on competence. Do you understand? Why not? Why we are not putting Peter Obi under the scale of his religion? Do you understand? So can you exempt it from every other person? Do you understand? Let this be about who can do the job, not about the person's religion. Do you understand? Of course, I can understand the ethnicity bias because of the people that vote. Not both bias. Do you understand? And actually, what is like a 60% Muslim state also. Do you understand? So I personally don't know if that would be an issue. Do you understand? A lot of people that I have conversed with, do you understand? They don't have the big issue like that. Do you understand? Of course, so that some Christians will negate that fact. That why would you want to make Nigeria an Islamic state? It's not possible. You understand? I don't know where people get that idea. Sometimes too they said Buhari wanted to make Nigeria an Islamic state. You don't just make a country an Islamic state like that.
But it is possible.
It just happen like that. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Okay.
It's not possible to make a country an Islamic state. Do you understand? All you have is just 4 years, max 8 years. Do you understand?
But it will probably take about around that same time to effect that if you actually wanted to make Nigeria an Islamic state. Of course,
this is what we have to. Any strong move to make this country an Islamic state will split the country. That's it. There won't be a Nigeria to make an Islamic state.
But that almost happened in 1967 when, of course, the East, Biafra, came up to say that the North had done a whole lot, ruled for a long time and controlled power. And of course, the person of Ojukwu, Odumegwu Ojukwu, decided to, pull out the Easterners from Nigeria. And we saw how that went, right? Of course, the national defense, came forward and defeated the Biafran defense, of course, which is expected, right? There is a whole lot more resources on the part of the Nigerian defense and the likes. However, if we look at history, the likes of, Turkey, this was how they started, and at the end of the day, ended up to become a full Islamic state. The likes of Lebanon, this was how they started, and then ended up to become a full Islamic state. The likes of South Sudan. South Sudan is even like the more recent one. It was just gradual, right? Very minute, and subtle introductions here and there. Very subtle and minute removal of people who shared a different faith until it came to a point where the government of the day came and declared the state to become an Islamic state. And if we look at that from history, we can almost want to conclude that that is also a possibility in Nigeria. What will just happen is that there will be a whole lot of bloodshed. A lot of people will resist and will be killed. And at some point, some people will have to pull back and say, okay, if it's just religion you want us to do, let us start. And it will start from there. And till eternity, Nigeria will remain an Islamic state.
Let me tell you the problem that you were not seeing in all these other countries that you mentioned. You understand? Nigeria is different in the sense that we have a very, very strong ethnical background. Do you understand? You see, that concept of Yoruba, Igbos, and Hausa people, do you understand, will not allow that. All these states, they are just states that, some of them probably even speak almost the same language and all that, do you understand? Now, this is a state that, they will bring everything to ensure that Muslims don't just have the way. It's not just an Islamic state just like that, you understand? And, considering what you said, in 1967, do you think they are wiser now than we are in 1967? Do you think the people now are less gullible or more gullible than they were in 1967?
Of course, there is a whole lot more information out there, and people are getting wiser.
There's a lot more information out there. Do you understand? Yes. So, and there's a lot of more process to just doing that. It will be more difficult now. As in, I've told people before who have suggested that. I said, this is what will happen if Nigeria is going to, if any president is going to move such notion, or if any government, let's even put it government like that. Do you understand? Now, it might look like it might happen because, of course, the North has most of the, the house. Do you understand? But it will surely divide Nigeria. And when there's no Nigeria, I mean, just go and call the northern state, to call it a particular name and make it an Islamic state. Do you understand? And they will be dealing with they will just become the terrorism state of the Nigeria that was never, that is no more. Because that's the only thing that can happen. I know for a surety that Nigeria can never become an Islamic state. For a surety.
All right. Thank you very much, Joseph. Don't go. Stay on the call. I would like to bring in our second guest, Mr. Olumide Bangbelu. Of course, he's a resident of Lagos, and I want to hear his thoughts on this Muslim ticket. Can you give me Mr. Olumide Bangbelu? Let's take his thoughts on this Muslim ticket. Okay, so I think his network is off again. This is Nigeria, right? So, Joseph, of course, I'm sure he was corroborating with what you said, about your indifference, regarding the Muslim ticket. However, we have seen how majority of the people in Nigeria, across different spectrums, right, have come to air their concerns about the Muslim ticket, right? So I did a research yesterday and I realized that I think that there are, I'm not sure I concluded on this, right? I think that there are more Christian states in Nigeria, or more states led by Christian governors than we have Muslim states. And this is one question I get asked. For instance, we have, fought against the Muslim ticket and the idea of it in time past. However, if we look at the distribution of the states in the nation, 36 of them, including the Federal Capital Territory, there are a whole lot of Christian states that are led by Christian governors and Christian deputies, and majority or even all of the people in the State House of Assembly are all Christians. Yet, the Christian states are as backward can be, right? I can mention state, Abia State. You see, Abia State is one state that I can clearly state have gone like 20 years, what am I saying? Like 200 years backward since the 90s, right? And of course, whoever has been governor since the days of Ojus Okalu has been supposedly a Christian, deputy Christian, all the members of the House of Assembly, all Christians, yet the state is running so fast in retrospect, right? So looking at all of this, how nothing really is happening in terms of visible progress in majority of these states that are supposedly Christian-led, or even the Muslim. There are several states in Nigeria that are Muslim-led, right? And still, there is absolutely no visible progress, no visible change, right? Shouldn't this be enough data for Nigerians to be able to say, okay, we really need to, at some point in our history, at some point in our life, rise above, our clamoring for religion and choose people based on what we have set out and agreed as a mandate? What are you going there to do? Right? What are you coming to do? Yes, Olumide, you wanted to say something?
There are some conversations that spring up, and when I look at where those conversations spring up from, I feel they spring up from a point of how important is 2023 has to do with the sustainability of this country, with the like, you don't get it. If we miss it in 2023, we might not be able to recover again. That's so look, when there are some particular conversations, like you said, this Muslim thing, it's not a conversation. Look at what we are doing now. We are discussing. This is what we should be discussing with these candidates. Forget their religion. What are you going to do? How are you going to help us tackle insecurity? How are you going to help us tackle food crisis? We're not telling you how you're going to help. Must can pray. And that is why I say that when these conversations come up online on social media, they come from a point where these people that spring up these conversations are not ready for. They are not ready for this new Nigeria we are clamoring. Some people are quote unquote, just bring out their phones and then just drop things at Muslim. Look, that is not the point. The point is, can this person deliver? If this person cannot deliver, whether he is an angel, kick him out. Don't put him in. I'm a Christian. I don't have a problem if they give us a Muslim candidate and we look at his past record. We see that he has done really well. We look at his manifesto. It looks like his manifesto is making sense. We look at the kind of person he is, his value system, at least to some extent. Okay, can this person keep with his words? Can this person deliver this Nigeria that we are all clamoring for? If this person cannot do it, whether he's a pastor, an alpha, an imam, a sheikh, whoever he is, he does not deserve a seat in the presidential villa. So if we are at this point still clamoring, still having discussions of Muslim, then I think we are not yet ready for 2023. I just feel Nigeria just be alone. Nigeria just go on the pitch.
All right, Mr. Bangbelu, and then of course Joseph. Of course, we have spoken a whole lot about our views regarding the Muslim ticket, and yet we have not told anybody who to vote. This is not for you to, vote the Muslim candidates. This is for you to look for better things to pay attention to, right? Better things, more credible, more progressive things to focus your attention on beyond the religion somebody practices. Because like I said earlier, there is a whole lot of Christian states that have remained backward continually because nobody really stays stagnant. The world keeps moving. And if you are not moving forward, if you have been stagnant, that means the world is moving forward. You are by extension moving backward. So before you talk about Muslim ticket, look at your state, your home state that has been led by Christians and decide whether or not your state is progressing, right? And then use that progress report to decide on how you choose to go from here, right? Because I'm not going to tell you who to vote. There are several candidates. And of course, there are several things that determines who wins an election. Yeah? However, it is your choice, whoever you choose to vote. Because, remember I said this recently, that whoever you choose as your next president will determine the next 4 or probably 8 years of your life. If you were 32 in 2022, trust me, if you have not realized, you will be 40 by the time the next president is done with his government. And that means you could have run very forward, progressed faster into 40, or you could have run very backward and regressed faster, in the next 8 years. So choose wisely, right? Choose wisely. This next election is pivotal. Some of you that have been shouting youth will no longer be youth by the time the next 8 years is done. So you should have this at the back of your mind. Maybe you are not even married or have kids yet. Very soon, a little one will be running around the house calling you daddy, daddy, mommy, mommy, mommy. So whatever you are doing regarding the coming election, you should always have the effect it has and will have in the coming years and in your life. I'm sure a lot of people want to run away, but it's not everybody that can run away. Very soon, the UK and the US and all the countries, Canada, that everybody is trying to run to, will close their borders from Nigerians, right? You will have to stay home and fix your country. But while you are at it, remember that whoever you vote will be there for another 4 years or 8 years. Nigeria is not a country where a prime minister or the president, due to something that happens, or maybe the, clamoring of the people, can wake up one day and say, I'm resigning from my position. It never happened once, and it will probably never happen in this country, at least for the next 50 years. Maybe by 2098, it can begin to happen. So I just need you to have this at the back of your mind, that your choice and the activities you engage in for the coming election is extremely important, right? Ladies and gentlemen, please, thank you. Help me say thank you to my guest on the show today, the Joseph Adeosun from the city of Osogbo, and also the Abule Showo of Lagos, Mr. Olumide Bangbelu, for joining us today. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you could come on board to air your views. And I'm really hoping that for every other person watching here, I will bring Joseph back, because I really want to follow through with what is happening in Osogbo and Osun State in general. Of course, the election result has been announced, and going forward, we will follow the report online, and then using people who are on site there to follow the progress report as to what is happening and how people are receiving the effects and the outcomes of the gubernatorial elections. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. This will be the end of the show on this day. Thank you very much for joining once again. Remember, this is our first live show, and come again next week, Sunday by 6 p.m. We'll be here giving you updates as to what is happening politically in our nation. Thank you very much. I remain your host, Daniel Okezwe. I'll be out now. Thank you for joining us.